I'm Andrew Patterson from interest.co.nz. Welcome to another in our business success series. With me, Tracey Sunderland, the Chief Operating Officer at Coda Therapeutics. Hi, Tracey.
Hi, good morning, Andrew.
So, Tracey, just tell us a bit about Coda and the origins of this business, because it's an interesting area, and an area, in fact, that's been trying to be solved for a very long time.
Yeah, so the technology actually originated from University of Auckland with our co-founder, Colin Green, and Dave Becker, who's at University College London, and they've been working on this technology for quite a few years. And then they met Brad Duft, who's our current CEO and based in San Diego, and he founded the company along with a few others, and so we could commercialise the technology. So we've been doing further preclinical development and clinical development to try and get it to market.
So just explain what it is you're working on here.
Okay, so the technology is for wound healing and inflammation, and it's an unmodified antisense, which is a small piece of DNA, so it's naturally occurring. And basically what it does is dampens down our target protein, which is a gap junction protein called connexin 43. And what we do is we dampen that down for a short period of time, and that allows wounds to heal naturally following that. So that's the basis of the technology in layman's terms.
And they've been trying to solve this problem for a long time. You go back to 1500 BC, there were clinics that were trying to sort of focus on this issue.
For venous leg ulcers, yeah, absolutely. So there's been a lot of failures in this indication previously, but we think we've found something that that's a little different. We're looking at a different approach. And so far we've had very successful preclinical and clinical results. So we think we've got, something that could be a game changer in the space. And there are no therapeutic compounds on the market, like you say. So there's a big market to be had.
And for the people who suffer from this, you're talking about almost the equivalent population of New Zealand in the United States, and this is common, and it's very painful for the sufferers.
Yeah, absolutely. So venous leg ulcers constitute about 80 to 90% of all chronic wounds or chronic ulcers, and in the United States that's about 1 to 2% of the population. So yeah, it's a huge issue. We're not actually treating the underlying cause, which is venous insufficiency, but the wounds that actually occur from that. And then they have recurrency, wounds in different places or on another leg. So it is a huge issue and very painful, and it's also a economic burden as well. Billions of dollars are spent on this issue, treating these patients.
When we think about the process of developing a product like this, it's long and it's complicated and it's expensive, isn't it? So just give us a sense of how much it takes to actually provide something that is going to work at the end of the process.
I mean, well, first of all, you've got to raise money, which is the hard part. We were lucky enough to get a Series A combined with some investors from the United States, which is Domain Associates, and Melbourne, GBS Ventures, and BioPacific Ventures in New Zealand. And we raised 23 million US, and that took us through sort of almost 6 years, which was some preclinical development and our phase 1 and 1 phase 2 trial. Then subsequently to that, we've done another phase 2 with a Series B financing, which was 38 million US, and we've still got phase 3 to go. So there's 3 phases of the trials, and that's going to probably be around $60 million to complete 2 phase 3s, and then you've got to apply with FDA with an NDA, which is a new drug application. So I mean, it's going to take probably 10 years all up, which is actually quite quick in the big scheme of things. Some companies don't get drugs to market, for 10, 15 years, so even 20 years. So we've done quite well to date with our funds and managing our time and money.
This is quite high risk investment, isn't it? But there's only a certain type of investor who will sort of stand the risk.
Absolutely. I mean, our investors, this is what they invest in. They only invest in the biopharmaceutical industry, especially Domain. So they're seasoned, investors in this space, and we've got them on our board as well, which is very, very helpful. We've got a lot of experience. So
they're also, I suppose, looking at the prospect of some fairly healthy payout down the track. I mean, if this does work, the returns are significant, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are no therapeutics on the market currently for venous leg ulcers, and there is a huge market to be had. So if we do get there and conquer this, it'll be a big return for our investors.
What about the decision to remain in New Zealand? Because often the thinking is that you have to go outside of New Zealand to achieve success, particularly in the medical world as well. Is that you're sort of proving that wrong, obviously? Yeah,
well, we have to thank Brad Duft, our CEO, for that. Really, he's a real advocate for building the biotech industry in New Zealand, and we currently have 16 employees in the company, and 11 of those are in New Zealand, and we do all the preclinical, clinical and non-clinical research in New Zealand. If it's not actually conducted here, we manage it. Some of our stuff is done in the US, Canada. We've got clinical trials in South Africa, Russia and Ukraine, but it's all managed with people from New Zealand. And I know a lot of people do go offshore, but primarily that's because they can't get funding. But I mean, our model, we have proven, does work, and the good thing about it for New Zealand is that we're bringing foreign investment in and spending millions of dollars in New Zealand. So we're building the biotech industry and an economy basically in New Zealand, and also keeping specialised people here in clinical research and preclinical research.
And these are obviously high-value jobs.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's not a lot of people in New Zealand that have these skills of a start-up biotech. So we've developed some fantastic people in our company, and I think if there's ever other startups, they do a great job. They've become very experienced in so many aspects. I mean, big pharma companies, clinical research, they get focused on one project, but here you're exposed to everything. So they've got some valuable experience behind them.
What about support from the likes of universities and government agencies in terms of funding? How well supported have you been in this process?
Yeah, we've had grants from New Zealand Trade and Enterprise early on for a phase 1 clinical trial, and also the Ministry of Science and Innovation. We got a preclinical grant, so they've been very supportive. And we've got 4 scientists based down at Auckland University, and we have a co-location agreement with the university, so that allows us to tap into the university resources. And there's a little biotech hub there which Jorg Kissler from School of Biological Sciences has set up, so we're amongst that too, so we have a lot of support there.
Where does New Zealand sit globally in the capability in this area?
I think we've got a long way to go. I mean, there's a lot of capable scientists and people in New Zealand doing research, but the biotech industry still needs to grow a lot, I think. And I think one of the things behind that is obviously lack of financing. But like I said, we've shown our model works. You can get foreign investment and still build a company and research in New Zealand.
And do you find you have difficulty getting staff?
No, so far we've been really lucky actually. There are some really dedicated and skilled scientists in New Zealand, and we were lucky enough to find 4 really good ones. We had a lot of people apply, and also we're upskilling them as well. We've sent them to London to our research lab over there to bring their skills back to New Zealand, which is also helping New Zealand and building skills here. So, but we have some very innovative scientists in New Zealand, and I think we should try and keep them here as much as possible, instead of them running overseas to try and get experience. But I think we're very lucky, and we should be really proud of our scientists. I mean, I'm really proud of our whole team. I think we've done extremely well to do what we've done in New Zealand.
What are the advantages? Well, I guess the disadvantages that you have, the difficulties of actually choosing to run it from New Zealand.
As a company, communication, we're on the phone a lot. Obviously, having meetings and everything with our colleagues in the US. But to be quite honest, running like clinical trials from here, I actually think it's worked really well. I don't really see a lot of disadvantages. I see a lot of advantages, especially it's more economical. You know, I don't think you need to go to America to take a drug to market. I think we're proof of that.
What about the standards? Because we know that getting through the trial process in the US is complicated, long, and is it easier here?
I think it is easier to get a drug approved in New Zealand, absolutely. But as far as quality, I mean, we ran all our early phase clinical trials in New Zealand, and the quality is very high. And that's something that I've seen sort of in the last 6 years has improved, and you know, capabilities have been built up quite well. So I think we're up there, and you know, we are sort of looking to bring other companies into New Zealand to run clinical research here, because it is economical, but the quality is definitely up there. We don't have any downfalls at all.
And could New Zealand see itself as a potential haven for the sorts of businesses that you're doing? Could there be more of them?
Absolutely. I think we've got such an opportunity to build and grow the biotech industry here, and I know people have been working on it for years, and you know, trying to do that. But absolutely, we've got great people, like I said, innovative scientists, good clinical research, good quality. And we also have a diverse population, so that's a real attraction for people wanting to do clinical trials. So, yeah.
What's your vision for where this business could end up in the future? Where would you like to see it?
Well, now we've had successful results in our phase 2 clinical trials, so we'll be looking to do a Series C financing so we can go into phase 3, or alternatively looking for a partner to work with through phase 3, or you know, for an acquisition. So that's where we're heading. There's still, you know, a ways to go. Probably we're looking at hopefully getting the drug to market by about 2016, end of 2016.
And from that point, then you begin to start looking at a follow-on product. Is there an evolution of other pipeline of other products still to come in behind it?
Yeah, so we've got a pipeline of other products that we're looking at, but the amazing thing about this drug is that every tissue and place we've tested it in the body, it seems to work. So we've got a lot of other indications. So we're currently following up with a second indication in diabetic foot ulcers, and we've just started a phase 2 clinical trial in that in the US and Russia and Ukraine. And but we have other indications that we'd like to go into. So yeah, there's absolutely follow-on stuff to come.
And just finally, what do you enjoy most about working in this business?
I just love the challenge. You know, I say it's not a job, it's a lifestyle, because it's certainly not a 9-to-5 job. You know, we're on calls at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning because of, you know, where we're situated. But I just, you know, there's so much going on, and with a small company in this space, you know, you're part of everything. And so, you know, it's a great learning curve, and you know, it's just the challenge. It's interesting work, but ultimately, you know that you're trying to put a product out there that's going to save, you know, millions of people from this horrible condition, and that's quite satisfying at the end of the day.
So Tracey, a great example of a business that's ticking all those boxes that New Zealand wants to progress science, technology, and keeping high-value jobs here.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think it's you know, a great opportunity for New Zealand, and we can certainly do it. And I think we've proven that the Coda model works, and we can stay in New Zealand and do clinical research and take it to the worldwide stage.